Alright guys, what is going on? TheAireaidLord is here. I am doing a review for Season 9 of The Walking Dead for Episode 13 entitled Chokepoint. Holy shit. This episode was incredible. Knowing that there was a 3-page fight scene between Daryl and Beta, I was expecting great things from this episode. As soon as I saw the building, just new things The Walking Dead just hasn't done, and they're trying to splice it up and really reinvent itself, and that's what this show has to do in order to stay viable for the long term. And they really understand that, and just like the characters are surviving, the show is also surviving by using these techniques. Incredible, and I'm going to get into it all right now. So, this episode starts out from where episode 12, immediately after episode 12 ended. Daryl, Lydia, Henry, and Connie are escaping the Whisperer camp. Daryl's a little angry that Lydia didn't explain just how many Whisperers there were. She said, "Oh, but you locked me up in a cell." By that point, she hadn't really changed sides yet, so it's not really, it wasn't really a valid point on Daryl's part. And then Connie takes the group in an odd direction, and I'm thinking to myself, like, where is she going? Because everyone follows her, and Daryl's like, "No, we should go that way. Like, where are you going?" It turns out the building we saw in the previews is actually a location that Connie, Magna, Yumiko, their whole group, they had used that building as a safe spot to hide from the walkers. They actually waited there and used that high-rise structure to survive, basically, for a little bit. Because there's a point where Connie pulls back a baseboard, and there's a first aid kit, water, supplies, protein bar, and you'll see in my reaction, I was like, how did all that get there? Like, that's just been sitting there, and it was a supply cache that they left, and that was why Connie led them there. So the whole reason they're in that building in the first place is because Connie's group had been there previous, which is something I didn't know, obviously, predicting last week, but that's it's not like they just stumbled across this building and Daryl's like, "Hey, this would be a cool place for a fight scene." No, Connie had been here previous, and because she had been here previous, she was able to help Daryl manipulate the surroundings of this interior to set a trap for the Whisperers, okay? So we have that plot line going on, and then we also have this secondary plot line with the Highwaymen. Now, this is a brand new group. We had done a lot of speculating, I did at least, when I was leading up to this video, who these mysterious horse-riding, hat-wearing cowboys are. And they're just, as we learned in this episode, they're just people that moved into unclaimed territory. It would seem that Jed's group, the remaining saviors who were the Marauders, the ones Carol lit on fire, they had a territory, and when they died, this group of highwaymen just kind of came in and seized the territory. Now, there's no history where they come from, anything like that, but there's a resolution that they come to very quickly. The Kingdom, they scope out their base of operations, which seems to be like a museum of some sort. Because you see Ezekiel, Carol, Jerry, they're moving inside this interior, and you see all these mannequins, and then as soon as I saw the mannequins, I was like, all right, one of these is going to spring to life. Sure enough, the guy wearing the hat confronts them, says you have to pay a tariff. We own the roads. Ezekiel and Carol are like, no way. And then all of these other highwaymen come out, and they're wearing like really goofy attire. It's like literally they're playing dress up. And I joked in my reaction video that they looked like they came from a movie, because they did. One of them's wearing like Revolutionary War robes. The leader has a freaking hat on, Ozzy, and it was just bizarre, because it's like this group, because we have a group right now who is our villain, the Whisperers, and now we have this other group that just got introduced who they almost like play dress up, but with human stuff from Civilization. So one group plays dress up with dead zombie skin, and then the other plays dress up with the remnants of the old world, which is like movie props, old robes from old army attires, the old U.S. Army attire, like things that were from the world before the apocalypse occurred. So it was just an odd contrast between the two groups that we've had that are new in season 9. The Whisperers and the Highwaymen are our two new groups, and it's odd how they contrast each other by the attire that they wear. It's very, very interesting. So very quickly, the situation is diffused. Now, the kingdom had this on lock, and I loved the scene where Deanna and the other kingdom soldiers got behind the Highwaymen. Like, Carol, Ezekiel, and Jerry were not cornered by any means. I was like, oh shit, they're cornered. The Highwaymen have guns. How is this going to go down? But the kingdom came in from behind and they were able to sneak into this compound very, very quickly. And, but no violence came to it. And this is a different approach for Carol. We've seen Carol go guns blazing with Terminus, with the Wolves. We've seen many instances where she's shoot first, ask questions never. And she was all talk in this episode. And I have to say, the highlight in terms of humor of this episode, I could not believe that it was a freaking movie that got these guys to agree to work for the kingdom, basically. They are keeping the roads safe. They saved Tara, that hilltop convoy. Tara, some of the teenagers, the guy who had been in jail, the one that they just adopted, the Whisperer baby, Tammy Rose, who was a little bit of a badass. I mean, she jumped off with that pike and started stabbing folk. That was pretty cool. But the Highwaymen are basically recruited as, like, mercenaries. Like, kind of like what Rick tried to do with Jadis and the Junkyard people, where he tried to recruit them as mercenaries to fight the Saviors. It never fucking worked because the Junkyard were a bunch of two-faced, two-timing idiots who were only out for themselves. The Highwaymen are basically what the Junkyard group should have been. They're a more reasonable group of scavengers who have a little more class, okay? And I think Ozzy's kind of funny. Like, I love his reaction where they're like, oh, access to the fair is your payment. And he's like, why would we care about that? Is this a joke? And then she's like, well, there's a movie. And you have to think about, like, to us, watching a movie for protection seems ridiculous, but it's been 7.5 years since these guys have seen a cinematic film, and they're being offered the chance to see something like a relic from the old world. That's like somebody coming up to you and saying, hey, dude, there's a living dinosaur on this island, and I can give you a free helicopter ride to see it. And I can also play some music while you watch this creature prance around in its natural habitat. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. All right. Sorry, I had to finish the joke there. Hopefully YouTube doesn't copyright hit me for the Jurassic Park theme music. That'd be hilarious. But my metaphor, the point I'm trying to compare is that just as a dinosaur is a relic to our world, a movie is a relic to their world. And so it's intriguing that they use that as the ultimate bargaining chip. Like, they didn't offer them, you would think, like, oh, they'd want food and water, because at one point they do mention water, like, food and water, the essentials, but no, like, they want to see this movie. It's like, all right, like, as long as Alpha doesn't crash the party, which, might happen, but as long as she doesn't crash the party, I mean, this will be a cool little thing. So, props to that scene. That I love the twist, because you see you see the Highwaymen with guns, you see this compound, the kingdom's got their bow and arrows and their weapons ready. You're like, oh, there's gonna be another fight, and it doesn't happen. It gets diffused in the most clever way, and I just love the way they frame that scene. Speaking of awesome framings, we have this whole dynamic with the Whisperers coming into the choke point, which Connie writes on her little piece of paper, as the walkers can't get up the stairs, and so they use all of this debris. Because think about it, because if the Whisperers don't walk like a walker and they start to, like, use human maneuvers, then the walkers are going to figure it out. So they basically put all of this debris and shit in the way. And so you actually see when the Whisperers get up the stairs, the walkers are, like, clawing after them, because they're like, oh, we suddenly realize that you're not one of us anymore. And then there was like fight scenes with all of these whispers. I mean, you had Connie. Connie was such a badass so many times in this episode. Like, I never thought I'd be rooting for a character with hearing impaired. Like, I just, like, they've taken a character that has a loss of one of its senses and made them just a total badass with that slingshot. I mean, she saves Henry, sort of, after he gets stabbed. There's that brilliant... Now, I didn't realize this during my reaction, but I guess when the door opens, when the Whisperer comes in and the door opens, the gleam of sunlight tips off Connie that there's an enemy, and she ducks a shot from a Whisperer and then shoots the guy with the slingshot. And I was like... In the moment, I was like, how did she know that? Because she can't hear... But she used her eyes as her dominant sense to see that that light was reflecting, and she's been deaf for a long time, so I'm sure she's mastered this at this point. So that's just really cool that they're, again, thinking of new ways, making the show new, and having a deaf character and using her in tactical situations against walkers and humans. You get some really cool content. And Henry takes down one, he gets stabbed by the other. I mean, come on, man. How long you been practicing with that freaking stick? Lydia gets locked in the closet with the dog. Thankfully, she pries herself out of there. I mean, she wants to help her lover, her boyfriend. I mean, they're not boyfriend and girlfriend yet, but I mean, they're damn near close. So they have like 3 scenes in this episode, where one scene where they kind of reconcile what happened at the camp. Lydia is just in awe that Henry wants to just run off with her. Like, not even to civilization, like not to the kingdom, not to Hilltop, not to Alexandria, just literally he wants to just run off with her. Just, you know, like he would do that for her to protect her and hide her away from Alpha and the insanity of the Whisperers. And it just, I think just the Lydia has never had this before. I mean, the last time she had it was her dad, who died 6.5, 7 years ago. So Henry is just is pouring all of this love towards her, and it's just, I think it's just overwhelming. Like, I think she's really opening her heart up, and that's why she's the one who keeps initiating all of these kisses. All right, I'm just gonna say, like, Henry hasn't gone in. Like, she's the one who steps closer, and she's the one who's she does it twice. She kisses him on the cheek before she goes in the closet, and then she kisses him right before Daryl interrupts it. Pretty funny. Cock blocking Henry. That was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, it's because she's lacked this love, and Henry has had this love from his parents, his adopted parents, Ezekiel and Carol. So he knows what it's like. You know, his older brother for a period of time was a father figure. Even Morgan was like a father figure. He's had a lot of loving parental people in his life that have helped him and tried to guide him down the right path. And Lydia's never had that. So now Henry's taking all of his wisdom and experience and projecting it onto this girl that he cares a lot about and loves. And it's a really cool dynamic. And though, for all the reasons I just mentioned, that's why I support their romance. I know people either don't like Henry, they're questionable about the actor. I mean, I think he's doing a decent job, much better than Carl. Like, again, I'll talk about this in other vlogs, but it would have been so cringy to see Carl's breathe acting with Cassidy McClincy, who plays Lydia. And again, Carl was with Enid before he died. And again, all right, I'm not going to get into this. I just wanted to quickly defend Henry and Lydia because I support what's going on, and I like that it opens up their characters, and especially Lydia's backstory that we spent a significant amount of time with in previous episodes. Okay? So then we get to the fight scene between this is the big one. This is Daryl versus Beta, and this fight scene goes on, man. Daryl, Beta is a tactful guy. Like, he realizes that Daryl had the crossbow when he saw the guy. Like, he looks at the arrow bolt when the guy who got bit and turns into a zombie, he dies. So he sees Daryl up on the balcony, and he uses bursts down the door and uses it as a shield to defend himself from the crossbow bolt. And then he bursts, like Daryl thinks he's got himself protected, and then he bursts through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man. Daryl gets body slammed like WrestleMania style at least 3 times in this fight scene. Like, I don't know how his back wasn't toothpaste. But, I mean, he's a tough motherfucker. I just, Daryl's, slicing at him. And these guys are juking and jiving. Like, they're both experienced fighters. Like, they both have knives. Basically, they're almost like antithesis of each other. Like, they're the same, but they're the same but different, because both of them have dual wield knives. So they're slashing and dodging. Like, both are experienced with their weapons, and like the core, like the cinematography, it pans out, and then you get close up, and then you get close out. Like, Daryl almost gets his chin sliced on like a grater, but he's able to like elbow him in the stomach. At one point, Daryl picks up a giant piece of wood and swings it at him, almost like Lucille, kind of like from the comics when Negan and Beta fight. There were just so many cool angles. Beta's yelling at him, saying, like, your way of life is flawed. He keeps asking where the girl is. And then Daryl uses and I love this because I know a lot of people ship Daryl and Connie. Connie's little baseboard supply thing helped Daryl because Daryl was able to go underneath, get behind Beta, and tackle him off into the elevator chute, and then Daryl thinks that Beta's dead because of the drop that Beta falls. And I don't know how far that elevator chute was, but that sure looked like a significant drop. I mean, I know we're in the realm of fiction here, and it would be stupid if the guy died. He's only been in 2 episodes so far, so that would be pretty dumb if the guy died after just 2 episodes. And I knew he wasn't dying. Like, when he fell in that chute and got hurt, I was like, all right, there's no way that Beta's dying. So, but Daryl does. They all think that Beta's dead, and Lydia doesn't seem to care. I mean, she broke herself out of that closet and rushed to help Henry, and I think she really is kind of really turning. She's like screw it. Like, she loves Henry more than she even cares for her people at this point. And again, Henry's made those points that, like, these people don't care about you. Yeah, sure, they've protected you and kept you safe from the apocalypse for this long, but they're evil. They're evil. Her own mother shows her no compassion. And at least villains we've had in the past, like Negan, I'm talking every villain. Negan, Gareth, even Gareth, because Gareth loved his family. He loved his family, and he was a compassionate person before those people that took over Terminus turned him into cannibals. So, Negan loved his wife. The governor loved his daughter Penny. I mean, every villain, obviously Shane loved Lori and Carl. I mean, every villain that we've had has loved something of some significance. Even the Claimers, claimed the guy that got his throat ripped out by Rick. He had a set of codes and morals. I know they were pretty much assholes, but they had a set of codes and standards, and they were really only going against Rick because Rick killed one of their own, so they just wanted vengeance. So Alpha is truly and I'll probably do another vlog on this, but Alpha is really the first villain we've had that has zero compassion. Like, it's just absolutely, she's just pure evil. She's pure evil, and unless she has some sort of love, because going to the hilltop to rescue Lydia broke her own rules, which Lydia says made her weak, and maybe that's the sliver of humanity that's left inside her. Maybe there's that sliver of humanity, but so far, she even said in the last episode, at the end of episode 12, she said, Lydia, if you don't kill Henry, I'm going to have that big hulking giant kill both of you. I was like, really? You'd have your henchman kill your own daughter right in front of you? Like, anyway, it's going to be interesting to see where, because Alpha wasn't in this episode. So where is she? Like, do we know? Is she just going to be at the fair suddenly, and we're going to be like, oh shit, like, but how would she know where the kingdom is? Because Lydia didn't tell her where the kingdom is. She only knows where the hilltop is. So a lot of things to predict for next week's episode. We do see that Lydia, Henry, like the whole group that was in that building fight, they go to Alexandria. And so for the time being, they seem safe, I think. I'm going to say yes. But we'll have to see how long that lasts. I know we're going to be building up to a momentous finale, and I'm kind of nervous what's going to happen. But there's time for conjecture. So in the meantime, I'm going to give this episode a 9.5. It was incredible. We're building towards this fair. We've seen a lot of setup for it. The Highwaymen are now a part of it. And just, again, this episode felt complete. Like, there was no cliffhanger with the Highwaymen. I mean, think of how many cliffhangers there were with the scavengers with Jadis. It was like Rick meets them. Oh, get us guns. Oh, you got us guns, but there's not enough guns. Now you got to wait 3 more episodes until they go to the Oceanside, steal more guns. Oh, okay, you got us the guns. Oh, but then we betrayed you and ran away. And then in next season, Rick goes there and says, hey, I need you to join us. And then Jadis is like, no, I'm going to throw you in a container. And then you have to wait 1 more episode for her to join Rick after he bests her. And then you got to wait another episode for them to go to the sanctuary. And then they just end up running away. It's like all those episodes, all that waiting just for that conclusion. And it's like, what? Really? And then look at this with the Highwaymen. One episode with this new group. And we had the resolution. It was funny. You understand who they are with their costumes. And now they're a part of the story in the fair. Like, I love the way Angela Kang is structuring this, and I'm not trying to shit on Scott Gimple. Again, we'll talk about that in future vlogs, but I think Angela Kang's doing a phenomenal job, and I hope that these last 3 episodes deliver. I hope that there's not any dumb deaths or anything that could possibly make me frustrated. We'll talk about that with our episode 14 predictions, but for now, giving this one a 9.5. Absolutely amazing fight scene, episode, humor. Great. Loving it. Even with Rick Grimes gone, I still had a hell of a time watching this episode. So, thank you guys. I will see you later. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. Peace out. See you later.